For a government seemingly heading at full speed towards electoral doom, it might seem odd to accelerate the process. But British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak did just that.
Earlier today, I spoke with His Majesty the King to request the dissolution of Parliament. The King has granted this request, and we will have a general election on the 4th of July.
The initial optics were not great. The PM caught in a gloomy English drizzle and a protest song blaring from the end of Downing Street.
Rishi Sunak fired the starting gun for the 4th of July just after 5 o'clock this afternoon in a dull, rainy and very noisy Downing Street. It was a case of things can only get wetter.
The consensus, this wet announcement was a surprise and a risk.
Rishi Sunak has decided to take the gamble of his political life.
Bailey Nash-Gardner is hardly a seasoned political observer, but his Politics UK site has 166,000 followers on X, formerly Twitter.
3 weeks ago now, we had our local elections, and everybody thought if Rishi Sunak, our Prime Minister, was going to go early, he would have called it within the first 2 weeks. Obviously, the results weren't great, and so people thought that he wasn't going to do it because he'd chickened out. But obviously, today he's gone out and really pulled it out the bag and surprised everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Prime Minister.
Once he dried out, Sunak hit the campaign trail with a message British voters are going to be hearing a lot in the next 6 weeks.
The economy has turned a corner. Friends, our plan is working.
But Labour leader Keir Starmer is the overwhelming favourite in this fight. Labour has led every opinion poll for more than 2 years and is now 20 points in front.
That opportunity for change is what this election is about.
For voters, the choice already seems clear. The Conservatives will be arguing it's too risky to change course now. Labour will say that's just what the UK needs.
Well, I'm just hoping the government's held accountable for the past however many years of kind of mismanagement, everything that's gone wrong. I think it's time for change in this country, and I think people are ready for that.
I don't know. I really don't. I've no confidence in any of them.
Since the Conservatives came to power 14 years ago, they have cycled through 5 leaders. David Cameron lasted 6 years, but after Brexit was replaced by Theresa May. She was dumped for Boris Johnson. The next leader, Liz Truss, lasted just 49 days, and Rishi Sunak replaced her. And, says the ABC's chief elections analyst, Anthony Green, the odds are stacked heavily against him.
The challenge is enormous for Rishi Sunak. They've lost a whole number of seats since the last election. There's 70 members of the Conservative Party, and nearly a fifth of their party room is not recontesting the election. There may be others pull out between now and the election. There's new sets of boundaries. There's so many challenges, and then there's just the general disgruntlement of the country at the moment.
Britain has been here before. 3 decades ago, few gave Conservative John Major any chance of victory after he replaced Margaret Thatcher.
And it is the most enormous privilege to have the opportunity of serving as Prime Minister.
In 1992, the Conservatives had been in power for 13 years under Margaret Thatcher and then John Major. They looked like they were going to lose to Labor in 1992. John Major won the election campaign by building enough doubt about whether Labor was ready to govern, and the Conservatives got back under John Major.
But undermining confidence in Labour's Keir Starmer won't be easy.
Your Majesty.
He's had 4 years to rebuild Labour after the often tumultuous leadership of Jeremy Corbyn.
Keir Starmer, obviously, I think, he's coming across a sort of safe pair of hands. Obviously, before him, the leader of our Labour Party was Jeremy Corbyn, who was sort of seen as a bit of a danger to our national security. And obviously, there was an anti-Semitism problem. And Keir's really come in and he has changed that. He's taken the issue of anti-Semitism very seriously.
Labour will be looking for a Tony Blair-style landslide.
A new dawn has broken, has it not?
When it won more than 400 of the 650 seats in the House of Commons. If that happens, Anthony Green says there will be serious questions about the future of the Conservative Party.
Does the mood towards having a more populist right build within the Conservative Party? The Nigel Farage and the Brexit Party have brought in a much more populist view of how Conservative politics should work, the sort of thing we've seen in America, we've seen in countries like Hungary. So to some extent, this is a very important election for the future of British politics. Can the party system that's been there for so long survive a big win by Labour and a collapse of Conservative support?